This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
The whole rig went down in a nor'easter in January 1961, taking her 28 crew with her. There was a destroyer, the Bedford, right there to help, but the tower just slipped into the sea at night, having broken off just 10 feet below the surface in 185 feet of water. The Bedford could do nothing for the 28 men lost that night, the Texas towers now their grave. Dickie told us the whole story while passing around a bone in the forecastle, all of us hanging on his every word. The fishing was good there, he said. Instead of going around Race Point and down the backside of the Cape, the Bay of Isles would cut across Cape Cod Bay, down through the Cape Cod Canal into Buzzards Bay, and to the open sea. It was a warm and sunny afternoon when we left. Jill went out and sat on the hatch cover to the fish hold with a paper bag full of fresh green beans and began snapping the ends. We were all hanging out at that point, enjoying the gentle breezes. "I'll help you do that," I said. "Oh, no, that's okay," she said. I could tell that she did not want to impose on a deckhand to do cook's work. "No, really, I don't mind." Jill finally agreed, so we sat on that hatch cover on one glorious day, crossing Cape Cod Bay, snapping the ends off green beans and talking. It was perfection. We approached the canal entrance, and it seemed too narrow to my eye, but it could handle tankers. We were following close behind one. Though its mammoth prop seemed to turn too slowly, they moved her through that canal at a good clip. I did my first wheel watch on a boat that steered in the direction you intended. The Bay of Isles was light, and the Cat 12 pushed her shallow hull through the water like a surfboard with a GTO engine. I thought she was a good boat, but Dickie had another opinion. Most fishermen were good at complaining, but Dickie was an artist. Taking a few of us on a tour, he didn't merely tell us what was screwed up, he showed us. First stop, below in the forecastle. He looked up to the overhead. "See those?" He pointed to 4 large bolts in the overhead, 2 on either side. "Those 4 bolts are the only things holding the wheelhouse on deck. 1 or 2 good seas over the bow, and the wheelhouse is gone. With the wheelhouse swept away, there goes steering, navigational aids like radar, LORAN, the radio, life raft, and, the skipper." He showed me around the hull and bulkheads. Anywhere a wood screw should have been utilized, a nail instead. All Dickie could do was shake his head. Great. So I shipped out on another disaster waiting to happen. Other than that, everything's okay, Ma. Love, your son. We reached the Texas towers and prepared to set out the gear for the first tow. It spooked me that there were guys still down there on that rig. Even though it was the mate's watch, George was there for the first tow to observe what came of the haulback. As a hookup man, I was responsible for setting out the starboard rake. If you did not remove the pin and pound the pelican hook at the right time, that is, the roll to starboard, the rake would flip and would drag uselessly upside down on the bottom. You never want to be responsible for a wasted tow, your mistake impacting everyone aboard. I pounded the pelican hook at just the right time, and the dredge went in the water perfectly. I could feel Andy's eyes on me while I did my best to nonchalant it. "Yep, do this all the time. Nothing to scrutinize here. Move along." Unlike Charlie, Dickie was generous with his knowledge, and under his tutelage, I flourished. George knew where the scallops were that summer, and we had a vessel that wasn't breaking down every 8 hours, so our trips were long. And it was here on the Bay of Isles that I grasped some idea of what these men who fish for a living go through. I had built a couple of log cabins, cut down the trees with an axe, hauled quite a few of those logs out of the woods on uneven ground, carried almost the entire building and its contents up a hill. But I learned a new level of hard work that summer of '78 on the Bay of Isles.